Hello, everybody. Grace and peace. This is Dion of D. Maria Reacts, coming back with a funny video clip that I just saw not too long ago. Let's chat about it. Check this out.
Well, despite the polls showing a razor-thin race, especially in the swing states, a CBS reporter is revealing just how difficult it was to find Kamala Harris supporters in the swing state of Nevada.
Do you always get together and talk politics?
We do.
Yes. So it's our lucky day. We found the right table today.
What issue is most important to you?
I'm extremely concerned about the border.
Illegals, they gotta go.
People are coming here seeking asylum.
Baloney. They're coming here for the freebies.
I took my brisket and mac and cheese with me to catch Ken Lasker with the to-go order.
How closely are you watching this election?
Oh, very closely.
He was the only Harris supporter we met at lunch, even though Washoe County has historically been pretty politically split.
We had so much fun. But what was really incredible is in every single restaurant of the people willing to talk to us, we could only find one Harris supporter in every restaurant, and we left no stone unturned. I approached every single person.
That's because Republicans love good food, brisket and mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you had me at that. I think that this goes back to our conversation about Kamala Harris's lack of detail, and it also shows that at least these people that the CBS reporter spoke to are not differentiating Kamala Harris to Joe Biden. She's trying to separate herself from that. And what all of these people talk to, if you listen to the piece, they talk about actual issues. They talk about the border. They talk about the economy.
And maybe I'm going to beat her to saying this because I haven't watched this part of it. That's the thing with this whole Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party is they don't talk about real issues. They talk about, warm, fuzzy, supposedly kind of stuff, and they talk about transgenderism. I'll call it transformerism. They talk about, identity politics, like, oh, the first female president, the first black female president, they talk about, and then all the hatred against Trump. They talk about all these things that it's not real everyday life kind of issues. Nobody cares about all of that other stuff if we can't get basic things pinned down by her as far as the border crisis, which we know she ain't gonna do jack about that, because if she was going to, she would be doing it. She is over the border and just slowing down the spigot right now because an election is coming up. That ain't doing jack. She talks nothing about the economy, and a lot of people are concerned about the economy, including me. Y'all, I'm gonna share something with you. I have been out of work since basically the day before July. Okay, I was working for a company, and I work in healthcare. I've worked in healthcare for many, many years, specifically in research. The company that I worked for was bought out by a larger company. Okay, what usually happens in a case like that? Well, first of all, the big company eats the little company, because the little company out here, struggling and can't make it, right? So you got the big company comes in, takes in the little company. And what usually happens in cases like that? Well, they usually come in and they clean house and they put in their own people in the Midwest. And I'm telling you, the job market sucks. There is nothing out there. I cannot find a position in my previous line of work. I cannot find a position in a lesser skill level than what I have. I certainly can't find anything in where my skill level is in research, because with an economy like this, what companies are taking on brand new research possibilities? I just heard the other day that Merck Merck. Merck is a huge company, and that's not the company I was working for. I wish I could get in with Merck, but Merck has is probably about to lay off a whole lot of people because they had a medication that they were hoping was going to. They had a medication that they were hopeful about, and it's turned out not to be able to help the people like they thought it would be able to. And so, what does that mean? They're not going back to the drawing board and trying to see how they can make it better or anything like that. They just gonna start cutting folks. So I have been looking for work and looking for work. I have never suffered so much as I have under this Biden-Harris administration. My mother taught me when I was a little girl, get into healthcare, you'll always have a job. Never have I ever in my life been in this position where it's hard to keep a job because something's always jumping off and you end up, oh, well, we're going to have to terminate, downsizing and all that, merger attrition because big company eats little company and they clear everybody out and bring in who they want to be in there. Somebody that's already on staff, more than likely. They're probably already on staff somewhere else and they were just shimmied and moved into my state because that saves money. Just think of it. If you have employees already in one area, okay, doing a certain job, and just say that maybe those studies are coming towards the end, they're getting ready to be done with. Well, these are people you're already paying, they're already on staff, you're already paying for their health insurance and their employee tax and all. You're doing all the things for them already. And you buy out this company that they just happen to be starting off a new 3 new studies in another city and blah blah blah. Well, get rid of those folks that are there because we got to cut some salaries because we got to tighten up the belt. Let's take and move these people over to there and get that office running, and that way they were able to eliminate 2 salaries. Now, I have cried many a tear because I have never seen the likes of these days where I am having trouble finding a job, keeping a job. The last 4 years, I have not stayed anywhere more than a year. And that's not me. And I'm not somebody sitting out here that I'm lazy, that people are sick and tired. Even the folks who are probably feeling the warm fuzzies at first, when this economy gets through biting us all in the behind and people's savings are getting eaten alive and folks are having to dip into their 401ks in order to make it, and the fear that this is going to be at least ongoing is going to scare a lot of folks, okay? And it's scaring a lot of folks to turn and change their mind and go, because think about it. When it's all said and done, I'm sorry, but Donald Trump is the master of that dollar. He knows how to make that dollar work. What experience does Kamala have in that? 0. This nation is in trouble. I mean, we don't even understand to the extreme that we are in trouble. We don't understand to the depths. That's what I want to say. That we are financially in trouble. And the whole world is looking at us, depending on us to make the right decision. And the right decision is not Kamala Harris. If she was going to do things so great, she'd be doing it N-O-W. Like my grandmother says, N-O-W. Now. She doesn't have the ability. She has some hidden ideologies, which is why she does not like to open her mouth and why she has so much trouble speaking and so much word salad. Because when you look back to years ago, when she used to answer questions and she used to do interviews, that was early on when she got in. When you look back to that, she didn't have so much word salad trouble. That's because it was coming from here. What she's doing now is they call it fake it till I make it. She's faking what her policies supposedly are and trying to move more center and trying to capture the hearts of the moderates and all of that. But when it's all said and done, she has some very Marxist ideologies. Okay? So yeah, more and more you're gonna, if Trump doesn't win this by a landslide, it is because there was cheating again. I am praying, and I know a whole lot of other people are, that the Lord will allow our election process to be fair and for this cheating not to occur. The mere fact that she allowed all these newcomers, and now she's waved her magic wand and given them some kind of special status so that they can now vote in the election, and they don't want to pass the SAVE Act, which will require people to have identification and have all the things they need intact already in order to vote. You have no business voting if you came over in here to get a bunch of freebies in the last couple of years because the Biden-Harris administration decided that we didn't need no doggone border. Now, you got a front door and a back door, and they both got locks on them, and you lock them up. But we don't deserve no border. Let's see what else she has to say here on this news clip. I'm going to take it back just a smidge.
Detail. And it also shows that at least these people that the CBS reporter spoke to are not differentiating Kamala Harris to Joe Biden. She's trying to separate herself from that. And what all of these people talk to, if you listen to the piece, they talk about actual issues. They talk about the border. They talk about the economy. And they see Donald Trump as a person that when they viewed how things were 4 years ago, they want to simply go back to that.
You know what? You bring up a really good point. And Kaylee, I would say this is one of the things that the Trump campaign has done successfully, and that is the Biden-Harris connection. And they had their work done for them because Biden kept saying that she was always the last person in the room on every big decision that affected Americans. And she and her team have been saying there's no daylight between them. Until recent, she doesn't talk about them as much, and it looks like there's a little distance there. But we had 3.5 years of how simpatico they were. And I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, and they will not allow Kamala Harris to escape the Biden label. When I say they, the Biden White House, Karine Jean-Pierre says she was a part of this, every single step of the way. If I were KJP or if I were Biden, I'd say, go be your own person, distance yourself from us, go win this election. They won't do it. They want to build his legacy. Just quickly, that reporter, to be in Nevada, a state that no Republican has won in 20 years at the presidential level, 20 years. And then to go to restaurants and only be able to find one Kamala Harris supporter, I know it's anecdotal, but the polls are not anecdotal, and it is a margin of error race in a state Republicans haven't won in 20 years. It's
also really hard to go anywhere, Tom, without seeing people talk about politics right now. You'd love to go have a meal where people weren't talking about it. Yeah. So people are, they'll be open with you about where they stand right now because they're so used to having it come up, and they're seeing all the ads in those swing states.
Yes, that's why I wouldn't go by any one report. You say, oh well, maybe there was a bunch of Republicans there at at the luncheon place, but it feels different this time around. I am not.
Definitely, it feels different. I've never seen that guy before. I don't know who he is, but anyway. Earlier today, y'all, after I dropped my nieces off, I was getting off the highway, and there was this truck in front of me that said Trump 2024. And I was like, yay, a fellow Trump supporter. So we happened to be getting off at the same stop. And I got to a point where I'm like, oh, I'm catching up with you. So I pulled over to the side of him, and I was like, sir? And he said, yes. I'm like, is this your car you're driving? He was like, yes, it is. And I just went, fellow Trump supporter. And we went, back and forth for a couple of seconds on how we cannot wait to cast our vote. People are excited. People are talking about it more than they normally would. And like I said, if this man does not win, I don't even want to think about that. But if this man does not win, we are all going to know. We already know. Half of us. But it's going to be so obvious, because isn't it obvious now? 2 attempts on the man's life in 5 weeks. Come on now, America. Can't you see? It's plain as day. Anyway, y'all, thanks so much for stopping by my channel again. I just wanted to check out that video with y'all. And before you leave out, please don't forget to leave your comment down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that way you can come back the next time I drop a video. Thanks so much for hanging out. Don't forget to watch and pray.